I never thought the worst betrayal of my life would begin on a quiet Sunday morning in our $3.2 million home in Westchester, just 30 minutes outside New York City. The house I helped design, the house I partially paid for, the house my husband Daniel loved to brag about at his corporate dinners, telling everyone he had built everything from nothing, while I stood beside him smiling, knowing very well that my marketing firm had covered half the mortgage for the first 5 years. But that morning, when I walked into the kitchen, I heard Daniel laughing softly on the phone, the kind of low, intimate laugh he hadn't used with me in years. And when he saw me, he turned away slightly and said, "I'll call you later, sweetheart." Sweetheart, a word he hadn't called me since our honeymoon in Maui 12 years ago, and something inside me shifted quietly, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to tell me that my life was about to split into a before and after. I didn't confront him that day, because women like me don't explode, we observe. And over the next 3 weeks, I noticed everything: the late board meetings, the sudden gym membership, the new cologne, the way he started locking his phone and angling his screen away from me. And then one Thursday night, while he was in the shower, his phone lit up on the marble counter, and I saw a name flash across the screen: Vanessa, don't forget tomorrow, heart. And my hands didn't shake, my heart didn't race. I simply picked up the phone and used the passcode I knew he thought I'd forgotten, our daughter Olivia's birthday. And what I found wasn't just an affair, it was a plan. Vanessa wasn't just some random woman. She was 26, worked in his company's PR department, and according to their messages, Daniel was planning to file for divorce after the new year, claiming I had become emotionally unstable and financially irresponsible. 2 lies carefully crafted to protect his assets, because what he didn't know was that while he liked to think he controlled the finances, I had quietly structured most of our major investments under a trust my father advised me to create years ago, back when Daniel was just my charming, ambitious boyfriend with student loans and big dreams. That night, instead of crying, I opened my laptop and called my attorney, Margaret Hill, the sharpest divorce lawyer in Manhattan, and by the following Monday, I had copies of Daniel's hidden transfers, screenshots of his affair, and a financial map that showed exactly how much of his empire was legally tied to me. And that's when I decided something important. I wasn't going to scream, I wasn't going to beg, and I certainly wasn't going to let him paint me as the unstable wife while he rode into the sunset with his 26-year-old assistant. For the next 2 months, I played my role perfectly. I hosted Thanksgiving dinner, I attended his company's holiday gala in a silver gown that made Vanessa stare at me with quiet insecurity, and I even smiled when Daniel toasted to family and loyalty, because I knew something he didn't. The prenup he insisted I signed 12 years ago had an infidelity clause he clearly forgot about, a clause that would cost him nearly 40% of his liquid assets if proven, and I had proof, undeniable proof. On Christmas Eve, he told me he needed to work late, and instead of questioning him, I packed a small suitcase, drove to the Plaza Hotel in Manhattan, and met with Margaret one last time to finalize the filing. And at exactly 9 a.m. on December 26th, while Daniel was likely waking up in Vanessa's apartment in Tribeca, he was served divorce papers citing adultery, financial misconduct, and breach of marital agreement. And by noon, my phone was blowing up with his calls, his messages ranging from rage to panic to desperate apologies, but I didn't answer a single one. What Daniel hadn't realized was that the company shares he thought were entirely his had been partially purchased using my inheritance money, documented and protected, and once the board caught wind of the legal filing, they launched their own internal investigation into his inappropriate relationship with a subordinate employee, which violated corporate ethics policies. And within 3 weeks, Daniel wasn't just a cheating husband, he was a suspended executive awaiting termination. Vanessa, of course, disappeared quickly. Women like her don't sign up for downfall, they sign up for luxury. And when Daniel's credit cards were frozen temporarily during asset review, I heard through mutual friends that she had already updated her relationship status back to single. But the part that truly changed everything wasn't the money or the house or even the public embarrassment. It was the moment Daniel showed up at the house one evening, standing in the doorway like a stranger, saying, "You're destroying everything." And I calmly replied, "No, Daniel, I'm protecting what's mine." Because for 12 years, I had minimized myself to make him feel bigger. I had introduced him to investors through my father's connections. I had worked double hours while pregnant with Olivia so he could attend networking trips. And I had listened to him complain about the pressure of success while carrying half of it on my own shoulders. And I realized something powerful. Betrayal doesn't break strong women, it reveals them. The divorce settlement finalized in 8 months. I kept the Westchester house, I retained majority ownership in 2 joint investments, and Daniel walked away with far less than he imagined, not ruined, but reduced. And the man who once laughed softly calling another woman sweetheart now lived in a downtown rental apartment, rebuilding both his career and his ego. As for me, I rebranded my marketing firm under my own name, expanded into luxury branding across Chicago and Los Angeles, and within a year my revenue doubled, not because of revenge, but because clarity is a powerful motivator. And on the anniversary of the day I found that first message, I hosted a private dinner party in my home, inviting close friends, investors, and yes, a few of Daniel's former colleagues. And as I stood there in my own dining room, glass in hand, looking at the life I rebuilt without noise, without drama, I realized that the greatest revenge was never exposure or humiliation, it was elevation. Daniel once told me no one would ever take me seriously without his last name attached to mine, and yet the day Forbes listed my company among the fastest-growing boutique agencies in the Northeast, my name stood alone, bold and undeniable. And sometimes, late at night, when the house is quiet and Olivia is asleep upstairs, I think back to that Sunday morning in the kitchen when I first heard him say, "Sweetheart," and I almost want to thank him, because if he hadn't betrayed me, I might have spent the rest of my life shrinking myself to fit inside his shadow, and instead, I stepped into my own light, and that is a story no one can take from me.